So most of you know me. For those new faces, hi, it's nice to meet you. My name is Meg Miller. I'm the outpatient physical therapist here. And each month I do a presentation on a health and wellness related topic. So this month our presentation is on sleeping and why you need a bedtime no matter your age. Next month's presentation is going to be on falls and fall risk. And I'll also be talking about a piece of equipment that we have here called the VirtuSense. And that helps me to analyze your gait and then give you a specific fall risk percentage. So it's some pretty cool technology that we have here and not everywhere does have. So I want to give an introduction on that. That'll be next month. Okay? So today we are going to talk about sleep. All right. So a question that I sometimes get asked is, do people need less sleep as they age? And so something that many people think is, okay, as we age, we don't need as much, or sometimes people think they need more because they get more tired throughout the day or they don't sleep as well at night, so they try to catch up. So we're going to talk about some of those popular myths and our real responses to them. So we all look forward to a good night's sleep. It allows our body to rest and restore our energy levels. It also helps us to heal from anything that we have going on and gives our body that time to just reset. Without enough sleep, we can become grumpy, irritable, inattentive, and more prone to accidents. I'm grumpy when I don't sleep. Sometimes my husband will look at me and say, "Honey, do you need a snack or do you need a nap?" Yes, I am like a toddler that way. But on a serious note, we are more prone to accidents such as falls or even dropping something that could increase your fall risk because you're bending down to pick it up, right? And then just like food and water, adequate sleep is essential to good health and quality of life. So how does sleep work? There are two types of sleep. We have non-rapid eye movement sleep, and then we have rapid eye movement sleep. Non-REM sleep consists of 4 stages ranging from light all the way to deep sleep. We cycle through these stages approximately every 90 minutes. There are tons of studies about how we sleep, and of course there are variations between different people, but this is some broad generalizations that they found from the research they've done. So then after we cycle through the non-REM sleep, then we go into REM sleep, which is the most active stage, and that's when dreaming often occurs. We need both types of sleep to maximize our sleep benefits. Okay, so this is very small, so I have a cheat sheet and I'm going to read it for you, okay? So at the very top there, we see non-REM sleep, stage 1, and that's pre-sleep. So that's about 5 to 10% of our total sleep for most adults. And then if we come over following the clock here, we're going to go to non-REM stage 2, light sleep, which is 45 to 55% of total sleep in adults. Continue around the clock here. Then we have our next stage of non-REM sleep, stage 3, which is called slow wave sleep. It's about 15 to 25% of total sleep. Then we continue up the other side of the clock and we go to non-REM stage 2 again, so back to that light sleep stage. The brain usually cycles back to the light sleep stage 2 before it proceeds to your REM sleep, your rapid eye movement sleep. REM sleep, although your brain is active, your muscles are very relaxed. And that's 20 to 25% of total sleep in adults. And then in the center there, it says each sleep cycle lasts on average 90 minutes. So we're cycling through. We're asleep and we're relaxed the whole time, but our brain and our body are cycling through those different types of sleep. Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about how sleep works, and specifically we're going to talk about the two body systems that researchers have identified that help to regulate sleep. So the first one is the sleep-wake process, and then the second is our own unique circadian or biological clock. So these systems program our bodies to feel sleepy at night and awake during the day. So the sleep-wake process works by balancing the amount of sleep a person needs with the amount of time they spend awake. And everybody is a little bit different for what they individually need. So we're starting out asleep, and the sleep urge is then waning, and then we're going through our day, and then we have that sleep need, and right at about that point where that peaks, then our sleep urge comes up as well. So that's our body just telling us, okay, this is what I need, now let's do it. And we all know sometimes if we get sleepy, but we're doing something and we ignore that sleep urge, it kind of goes away. And you get almost like a second wind, some people call it, right? But then it's that much harder to fall asleep after that because you've overridden your body's signaling process that it wants to use and that it's meant to use. Okay, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the circadian clock. If I can find my cheat sheet here. Okay, again, small print, I apologize, but I'm going to tell you what that clock shows there. Okay, so our circadian clock is a 24-hour body rhythm clock, and it's also affected by sunlight. That's how our body knows what time it is, right? Apart from our brain telling it. And it regulates the production of hormones like melatonin, which is secreted during the night and promotes sleep, and manages other processes like body temperature. Our body temperature is very important in our sleep as well. So we're going to start our clock at 12 midnight, and then we're going to go over to 2 o'clock, which is when we get our deepest sleep. 4 o'clock is our lowest body temperature. 6 o'clock is a mark there you can see on that clock there. And then it has a note that 6:45 is typically the sharpest blood pressure rise. So body's starting to move towards waking up. 7:30, melatonin secretion stops. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, we're typically at our highest alertness level. Then 12 noon is marcated on our clock. And then if we look at 2:30, we have our best coordination there. And at 3:30, our fastest reaction time. Some of us don't have a fast reaction time any time of the day. Do you feel like that sometimes? I do. Okay, and if we keep moving on, our greatest cardiovascular efficiency and muscular strength are also in that afternoon. And then our highest blood pressure, highest body temperature, and then melatonin secretion starts. And as we go around the clock, okay? So that is some very basic detail into how that circadian clock works. There's a lot more things that go into that. We mentioned some hormone production and also that melatonin production. It's a complicated system that our body has down pretty well. But like we talked about also with the sleep-wake cycle, there are ways that we can override it, and that's when we tend to get in the most trouble. Our body knows what it's doing, and sometimes we need to listen to it. Okay. So, how do sleep habits change with age? So all of this is given a broad caveat, right? That everybody needs different amounts of sleep on their own, and everybody's system works a little bit differently. So then as we age, everybody reacts to that a little bit differently too. But on a broad level, sleep needs do change over a person's lifetime. Older adults often need about the same amount of sleep as their younger counterparts. And it's typically, for most people, about 7 to 9 hours each night. So that then leads to our question, is poor sleep a normal part of aging? Because unfortunately, many older adults do get less sleep than what they need. So what is impacting that? There's a lot of things that impact that. And then there's a lot of things that inefficient or less desirable sleep, that can cause a lot of things to happen as well. So one reason why older adults typically get less sleep is because you have more trouble falling asleep. A study of adults over 65 found that 13% of men and 36% of women take more than 30 minutes to fall asleep each night. So if we can cut down that time that it's taking to fall asleep, then that's more time that we can be spending getting some restful sleep. So we're going to talk about some ideas for that. But some things that insufficient sleep can lead to or can increase: distractibility, poor attention span, poor organizational skills, poor motivation. Sometimes we're just not motivated because we feel sleepy. Irritability, you can become easily frustrated, depression, anxiety, and defiance. Okay. I think that's it for the ones with the really small writing. So we're still talking about, is poor sleep a normal part of aging? Seniors often sleep less deeply and wake up more frequently throughout the night, which may be why they're prone to napping during the day. Sleep schedules can change with age too. A lot of older adults report that they seem to wake up earlier than they used to, or they're keeping more of a schedule like when they were working or had other things going on. And sometimes I'll hear people say, well, I'm retired, so I don't have as much on my schedule, but it seems like I don't get as much done either, right? Sometimes we need those deadlines and accountability. Many older adults tend to get drowsy earlier in the evening and then wake up earlier in the morning. So there are many possible explanations for some of these changes in sleep. Production of melatonin can wane with your age, and seniors may become more sensitive to disruptive changes in their environment, such as light or noise. I know when I was younger, I had to have everything dark and I had to have it quiet. And then as I got a little older and had more life experience and, sleeping in a college dorm and all of that, you kind of get used to what you have to, right? And now I can tolerate some light and noise, but I still do best if things are quiet and dark to sleep. In regards to declining production of melatonin with age, there are ways that you can boost your melatonin production. And then there are also supplements that can be helpful sometimes as well. Melatonin, though, is one of those things where as you take it, especially as a supplement, you will start to build up a little bit of a tolerance to it. So you would need a little bit more as you go on. And that would be something to talk to your doctor about if you're feeling that you need to do that. But there's a couple of natural ways that you can boost melatonin production: getting more magnesium, and again, something you'd want to talk to your doctor about if you're not sure of your levels. Spend more time in the sun. adding tropical fruits to your diet. You can try tart cherry juice, and then resist checking your phone in bed or any electronic or screen time right around the time that you're going to bed. I'm bad with that one. Okay, and sleep patterns do change as we age, but frequent sleep disturbances and persistent fatigue are not a part of normal aging. If you or a loved one are having trouble sleeping, it's time to make an appointment with a doctor or a sleep specialist. So I'm sure we all know somebody who's done a sleep study, right? And they often do those if they think somebody might need a CPAP to help them make sure they're maintaining their oxygen levels at night. So older adults may have many health issues that can affect their sleep quality. And here are some examples: cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, thyroid disease, arthritis, and then some of those heartburn and GERD, or our gastroesophageal reflux disease. That wasn't coming to me, guys. I was struggling with that one for a minute. So all of those things can impact our sleep. And then to complicate things further, poor sleep can contribute to additional health issues such as depression, attention and memory problems, excessive daytime sleepiness, and increase in nighttime falls. Being sleepy definitely increases your fall risk. So what does the research tell us? A lead study author, Dr. Jane Cawley of the University of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, found that an analysis of data from more than 157,000 women between the ages of 50 and 80, they were followed up for 12 years, and their sleep length or number of hours spent sleeping is actually tied to a risk for falls and fracture. But they found something very interesting with this. If I'm looking at that, I'm saying, oh, okay, yeah, if somebody didn't get enough sleep, they would definitely be more likely to have falls and fractures. But the findings were very interesting. There was an increased risk of recurrent falls associated with both short and long periods of sleep times. So individuals who slept less than or about 5 hours had a 27% increased risk in recurrent falls. And then the group that slept more than 10 hours had a 24% increased risk of recurrent falls as well. So it's both ends of the spectrum. It's if you get too much sleep or if you don't get enough sleep, it increases your risk for falling. A study out of Duke University Medical Center found that sleep regularity has a greater influence on health than sleep duration and timing. So that's nice because that gives us a little bit of a buffer there, right? If we can be regular with our sleep most of the time, that's going to have health benefits. For this study, researchers tracked the sleep schedules of almost 2,000 adult participants using the Sleep Regularity Index, which is just a specific survey-based measure. A regular sleep schedule is associated with a lower weight, lower blood sugar levels, and lower risk of heart disease and diabetes. That makes sense, right? Because we talked about specifically melatonin, but other hormones too do change their production levels with how we sleep, and having that regular sleep cycle keeps everything more regular and can promote our body functioning more optimally, which leads to better health. Okay, so some tips for getting a good night's sleep. I have this handout that you guys all have, and it's called 12 Tips for the Best Sleep Ever. You've probably already started looking at some of them, right? So the first one is to find your sleep number. I'm not going to read through all the text on here. You guys can read. But that's figuring out how many hours are optimal for you, because it is going to be a little bit different for everybody. And then number 2, this is an important one, guys. Don't try to make it up. So if you miss sleep and you go, I didn't sleep well last night, let me take an extra long nap today. That is not going to work in your favor, okay? Follow a regular schedule and stick to it. Again, if you miss a day here and there, you have a bad night's sleep, that happens to everybody. But the more regular you are with your sleep schedule, the better your sleep will be, and your health as well. Minimize naps. There are going to be times where you just feel like you can't keep going and you need a nap. Take it when you need it. But excessive sleeping during the day can keep you from falling asleep and staying asleep at night. And we want that restful sleep to occur at night when you have the largest chunk of time to do it, right? Beginning an exercise regimen. So if you're regular with exercising your muscles, that can help you sleep as well. All of the benefits that exercising has, there's numerous, and we've talked about them in other talks here, and we'll talk about them in the future too, because it's super important. Just like you're regular with your sleep, you should be regular with your activity as well. And then soak up some sun. That's a great one for this time of year, right? Make sure you're using your sunscreen. And then you want to watch what you eat and specifically avoid caffeine, especially later in the day. You want to cut out any alcohol and nicotine because those can impact your sleep as well. And then you want to make sure you've created a comfortable environment for where you're sleeping. And then a bedtime routine can really help too. If you have a bedtime routine and you start it at the same time every night, that's going to help your body and your mind to relax and say, okay, it's time to get ready for bed. We're starting this bedtime routine. We do this and we do this and we do this. That really works well with my daughter too. Okay, and you want to use your bedroom only for sleeping. That again is that cue to your body and your brain that, okay, this is the place where we rest and we have good restorative sleep. And then you don't want to worry about it. You don't want to worry about the fact that you're not sleeping because it's going to keep you from sleeping. All right. So those are some of our best tips for getting a good night's sleep. And we want to look to be able to say, like, if you wanted a way to track this, a really great way to track it would be to have some type of a journal or even just, a notepad that you write on in the morning. And when you get up, you say, okay, how do you feel? I felt like I slept well, or I feel like I didn't. And then you can also write down, if you fell right to sleep or if it took a while to fall asleep. Because if you can identify what your issues are, then that can help you to figure out what to do to help alleviate that issue, right? Okay. So these are all the ones we just went through. And then the second handout you have is called Snooze-Inducing Breathing Techniques. So Harvard University researchers recently discovered that a regular use of relaxation techniques helped people fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and improve the overall quality of their rest. So I want you to practice with me a little bit. You have some tips here, and it has some really good detail for you. But we're just going to practice some of the things that it's talking about on this sheet, okay? So we're going to practice a little bit of belly breathing. Okay, so what I want you to do is just put your hand on your belly there for me, okay? And then I want to tell you exactly as this does, so I don't tell you exactly the way I do it instead of the way the handout says. Okay, so For this, you can be sitting, you can be lying, however you're comfortable. But you want to place your one hand on your stomach, okay? And it should be just below your rib cage, kind of above your belly button, in that space there, okay? And then the second hand you want on the center of your chest here, okay? Good. Okay. You want to breathe in deeply through your nose and let your first hand be pushed out by your stomach, okay? And the hand at the top by your chest should remain stationary, okay? So we're going to breathe in through the nose and let the belly expand. Okay, then we're going to breathe out through our lips, pursing them as if we were about to whistle. So you don't actually have to whistle, but okay? So we're breathing in through the nose, letting the belly expand, and then out through the mouth. And the hand on your belly should come back in as you go, okay? Let's do it again. Breathe in, let the belly expand, and out. Very good. Some of you feel relaxed already. We need to remember to breathe, folks. Just because our body does it without us thinking about it doesn't mean we shouldn't put some thought into it now and again. Okay. So this says to slowly repeat it, between 3 and 10 times. Do whatever feels good for you. Yeah, you'll probably want to do it at least 3 times to get that relaxation effect, to get that reset of your body and your mind. But you can continue it for as long as you feel necessary. However, if you start to feel lightheaded, stop and just breathe normally for me, because it probably means we're not quite doing it right. All right. The next breathing technique is the 4-7-8 method. So this one, you need to be, again, sitting or lying down. And we're going to do the belly breathing position again. So hand here and then on the chest. Okay. You want to breathe in slowly, but very deeply. You want to take a full 4 seconds to breathe in, and you want to feel your stomach expand as you go. Then you want to hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then you want to breathe out for a full count of 8 seconds. And once you reach that count of 8, you should feel like your lungs are totally empty, like there isn't any more air that you could breathe back out, okay? And you want to repeat that as many times as you need to, making sure you're keeping that 4-7-8 pattern there, okay? So we're breathing in for 4 seconds, we're holding for 7, we're breathing out for a full count of 8. That's allowing you to really maximize the work of breathing and get all of that air out of our lungs, because not all of it, but as much as we can out of our lungs, right? Because there's always some residual air left in our lungs when we're breathing normally. But if we can force all of it out as much as we possibly can, then we have more room for the good stuff to come back in, and you will be getting more oxygen because there will be more oxygen available in your lungs, and will decrease the work of breathing and also help to calm you down. Okay. Next, we have the roll breathing technique. So this one, again, is great for relaxation. And again, same thing, encourage that full lung capacity. So you can lie down, but you can do it sitting. You want to get in your belly breathing position again. Again, those hands are in that same position. And when we breathe, we're going to breathe in from those lower lungs again, so making sure that belly hand moves, but not the chest hand. And we're using our nose to breathe in and mouth to exhale. So we're doing that up to 8 times, just normal breathing, just like the belly breathing. And then on the 9th repetition is when, once we've filled the lungs up, we want to take another breath, and that time you'll move the hand on the chest, okay? And that will fill your lungs even that little bit more than we normally do during just restful breathing, okay? And then we want to gently exhale through the mouth and make sure we get everything out, okay? And you can kind of, it says you can make a whooshing noise. So let's everybody go ahead and we'll just do it one time, and it won't be quite right because you do need to do the belly breathing to lead up to it, but we're gonna do it for the sake of practice here, okay? So let's breathe all the way in, let the stomach expand, and then breathe in just a little bit more. And then we're coming out. Okay? And feeling that we've got all that breath out. And then return to your normal belly breathing. Okay? So again, you have to kind of see what works for you. If you're getting lightheaded, we immediately stop and go back to normal breathing. But these are just some ways that you can really use all of that capacity that you have in your lungs. Our lungs are pretty amazing. And then the last one, it says deep muscle relaxation with belly breathing. So you would need to be lying down for that, lying down on your back and supported. And the best way I cue people to do like that deep relaxation is to first focus on that breathing again. So hand here, we're making sure the belly hand is moving as we breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, working to increase that count of breathing. So it's taking longer to inhale and longer to exhale, and everything feels relaxed. Then to bring the muscles into it, close your eyes and think about each part of your body as you tell it to relax, okay? So I'm lying here and I'm thinking, okay, hands relax and elbows relax and shoulders relax and trunk relaxes, neck relaxes, hips and knees and ankles. And obviously it works a lot better when you're lying down. So only do that one lying down because we don't want all those muscles to fully relax. And I don't want you standing too long with your eyes closed either because that can mess with your balance, okay? But that's a great technique to get yourself to just let everything go and relax, especially if you have one of those nights where your brain is just running circles and you're thinking about the next thing and the next thing, because none of you ever have nights like that, right? Me neither. That deep relaxation of those muscles is a great way to get yourself all the way relaxed and just kind of hit that reset button on your brain and get it to calm down and stop thinking all those thoughts that you can't do anything about from bed anyway. A good tip that somebody told me one time was if something's running around in your head at night and you just can't get it out, and maybe you're afraid you're going to forget about it. Maybe it's an idea that popped in, or maybe it's something you need to do the next day. Having a pad of paper next to your bed with a pen or pencil, write it down. There you go. It's out of your head. That might be enough for your brain to say, okay, I'm done. I know that's somewhere where I can remember it. I know that's helped me a time or two. Okay, so in summary, good sleep doesn't just happen on its own, it's made. The truth is good quality sleep, not just more sleep, but good quality sleep, is the key to feeling energetic during the waking hours and decreasing your risk for falls and other medical issues, such as depression and heart disease. By incorporating some of these key tips, you can decrease your risks and maximize your sleeping patterns. Thank you so much for joining us.